After years of sabotaging my marriage, my sister-in-law handed me a poisoned meal, but when her own husband took my plate, she ended up in handcuffs and we discovered her darkest secret. The night my sister-in-law tried to poison me, I was 5 weeks pregnant. No one knew yet, not even my husband. But what happened next shocked everyone and changed our family forever. I always thought the worst thing Kayla had done was wear a black funeral gown to my pastel-themed wedding, sobbing dramatically as if she were attending a burial. Turns out, that was just a preview. I'm Megan, 29, and I've been married to Harry for 7 years. Everything in our life, our love, our little boy Nate, our small but growing home, felt just right. Except for one thing. Or, rather, one person, Kayla, Harry's sister. When I first met her, I thought she was charming, like the kind of woman who always gets free drinks and starts spontaneous karaoke. I even liked her. But that shiny friendliness dulled fast. Kayla had a special talent for dressing up hostility as honesty, and what she said with a smile could cut deeper than a knife. She had a thing for controlling Harry's relationships. At 17, she pressured him to date her best friend. At 23, she tried to play matchmaker again. When he met me, she sniffed around like a dog guarding a bone. From the beginning, I was not right for her brother. Too different. Not good enough. Too flashy. Her favorite line, delivered with a smirk. You know Harry's ex still asks about him, right? At first, Harry laughed it off. So did I? But then she started inviting his exes to family dinners, claiming she just ran into them. She stalked my public Instagram, then accused me of posting indecent pictures if any guy dared to comment. Kayla said Harry could do better, that she could find better. But when we got engaged, her game escalated. Everyone clapped when we shared the news. Except Kayla. She stood up, pale-faced, and walked out of the room. Later, she called Harry in tears, furious that she hadn't been told first. I'm your only sister. I should have known before anyone else. Then she messaged me. I'll never forget the way her words made my stomach twist. You better treat my brother right. I've always been the only woman in his life. It wasn't a message, it was a warning. I left it on read. That only made her hate me more. Despite pretending to be involved, she sabotaged every step of our wedding. Mocked the centerpieces. Trashed the color palette. Showed up to my bridal shower just to sit and sneer. Eventually, I snapped. I told her she wasn't invited to the wedding anymore. She played the victim, of course. Cried to Harry, blamed me, said I was trying to break the family. He backed me. For once, he didn't flinch. She's out unless she apologizes, he said. So she did. A long, suspiciously heartfelt apology text. I didn't reply. Still, I let her come. I thought it would end the drama. Instead, she walked into our wedding looking like the Grim Reaper. Black floor-length gown. A veil. A goddamn veil. She told guests she was mourning the loss of her brother to another woman. People thought it was a joke. It wasn't. Harry's parents finally kicked her out of the reception. After that, we cut her off. I refused to let her near our son. She tried to protest, but for once, Harry's parents had my back. She'd lost their respect, too. And yet, years passed. She had a miscarriage. Became softer. Or so we thought. She was sweet to Nate. Said she was in therapy. Talked about wanting to reconnect. Slowly, we let her back in. So when we hosted Harry's birthday party, just 2 months ago, and Kayla showed up beaming, I thought maybe, just maybe, she'd finally changed. I was wrong. She handed me a plate of food herself, eyes wide with fake cheer. I made it specially for you, she said. Said it was her way of making up for the past. There was shrimp on the plate. I'm deathly allergic to shrimp. Before I could react, her husband Jaimie came over to chat. I told him about the shrimp, thought it was just a mistake. He laughed, took the plate, and said he'd eat it instead. 5 minutes later, he collapsed. What followed was chaos, sirens, tears, and a horrifying realization. Jaimie had been poisoned. And that plate, that poison plate, it was meant for me. The last thing I saw before Jaimie collapsed was Kayla's face, her wide smile frozen, her fork midair. Then chaos swallowed everything. 1 second, people were laughing. The next, Jaimie was hunched over, clutching his throat, eyes bulging. He staggered, gasping, as plates clattered to the ground. My heart dropped so hard I nearly hit the floor with him. He pointed at his dish. At me. Then collapsed. Someone screamed. It felt like the air was sucked out of the backyard. Harry darted toward Jaimie, shouting for help. Kayla dropped beside her husband, sobbing, ugly, loud, theatrical sobs. Everyone else froze, watching the scene unfold like it was a movie we weren't supposed to be in. He ate my plate. I whispered to no one in particular. Harry turned sharply toward me. What do you mean your plate? I didn't take it. Kayla gave it to me. I didn't know there was shrimp, I stammered, pointing at the plate. My legs felt numb. My stomach churned as the pieces started clicking together in a way that made me feel sick. Within minutes, someone had called 911. An ambulance arrived. They rushed Jaimie away while Kayla screamed and clung to his arm like some tragic movie heroine. I stood off to the side, stunned, clutching my belly. Only a few people knew I was pregnant then. My mother, Harry, my in-laws. No one else, not even Kayla. But now, the baby inside me was all I could think about. Harry stood beside me, pale, jaw clenched. He didn't speak. He didn't have to. I knew that look. That calm before the storm look he inherited from his father. The moment something clicked, he would explode. We didn't sleep that night. Instead, we paced the living room with my in-laws while police came to collect the remnants of the poisoned dish. They took the utensils, the plate, the tablecloth. I overheard one officer murmur something about toxicology testing. No one said it out loud, but we were all thinking the same thing. If I had eaten what Kayla gave me, I'd be the one in the hospital. Or worse. What kind of person hands shrimp to someone with a known allergy? I kept replaying the moment, Kayla smiling, handing me the plate, saying she wanted to make it up to me. My fingers trembled remembering it. My mind spiraled. Did she really try to poison me? Was it deliberate? Was it supposed to be subtle? Harry's parents insisted on staying with us overnight. They were terrified to go home. She just showed up. We didn't invite her, my mother-in-law whispered. Harry barely spoke, until I mentioned one thing. There are cameras. Your parents have security cameras in the backyard. Everyone froze. Of course. There were cameras mounted near the porch, facing the whole party area. Motion activated, clear quality. My father-in-law ran to get his phone, trembling as he pulled up the app. It took minutes to find the right timestamp. And then, there it was. Clear as day. Kayla approaching me with a plate, handing it to me with both hands. Me smiling politely. Her walking away. Then Jaimie walking over. Me pointing at the plate. Him taking it, laughing. 5 minutes later, he collapsed. My father-in-law dropped the phone onto the table. My mother-in-law covered her mouth with both hands. Harry looked like he was about to shatter glass with his bare hands. She gave it to you, he said through gritted teeth. She meant for you to eat that. I sat back in my chair, the air heavy and sharp in my lungs. Everything was upside down. I felt like I was floating, but not in a good way. Like I was on the edge of a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. That night, I barely slept. I lay awake with my hands on my belly, feeling for the baby. Terrified. Not just for myself. Not just for Jaimie. But for what Kayla might do next. And just when I thought the worst was behind us, Harry's phone rang. Kayla was at the hospital. And she wanted to talk. Kayla was waiting in the hospital hallway when we arrived. She wasn't crying. She wasn't even pacing. She was just sitting there, hands folded neatly in her lap, back perfectly straight, like she was waiting to deliver a business proposal instead of facing an attempted poisoning charge. When she saw Harry, she stood up. I'm so glad you came, she whispered. He didn't answer. Didn't even look at her. We were there for Jaimie. But we knew what had to happen. Jaimie was conscious, barely. His face was pale, lips dry, but he managed a faint smile when he saw us. My chest ached with guilt. His first words broke me. I'm just glad it wasn't you, he said to me. That night, Harry and his father pulled Jaimie aside and told him what we knew. The plate, the shrimp, the video, the evidence, and that it had been meant for me. Jaimie blinked slowly, processing it. Then, quietly, he asked, do you think she knew I'd eat it? No one answered. It wasn't until hours later, after the doctors asked us to leave, that Kayla approached us in the parking lot. Her eyes were rimmed red, but her voice was steady. I didn't mean to hurt anyone, she said. I was just overwhelmed. Harry stepped between us. Did you poison that food, Kayla? She hesitated, just for a second, but it was enough. It was just a little, she said finally. I wasn't trying to look. I didn't know you were pregnant. The world tilted under me. I hadn't told anyone yet, not even Jaimie. So how did she know? That question stayed with me all night. And then came the memory, one I hadn't thought about in years. I was 17. I had a friend named Lena. She was kind, soft-spoken, always smiling. She and I used to hang out at a local bakery after school, sharing one croissant between us because that's all we could afford. She once told me that when people seem overly interested in your routines, what you eat, where you go, what time you leave, they're not curious. They're calculating. Some people, she said, don't want your life. They want your spot. I never forgot that. And now, sitting in my quiet kitchen while Harry slept beside me on the couch, I realized Kayla never wanted to be me. She just didn't want me in her brother's life. She didn't want a sister-in-law. She wanted control. She wanted exclusivity. I don't know what scared me more, her jealousy or her certainty that she'd get away with it. And maybe she would have, if Jaimie hadn't eaten that plate. Harry's parents watched the footage again the next morning. There was no mistaking it. The police were informed. The dish was tested. There was poison. It wasn't a mistake or accident or prank. It was criminal. Still, part of me wanted to believe Kayla didn't mean it. But the truth was, if I hadn't passed that plate to Jaimie, my baby and I might not be here right now. Kayla had tried to end my life, and I wasn't going to protect her anymore. Not even for family. They arrested Kayla on a Thursday. She didn't cry, didn't protest, just looked blank as they cuffed her on her porch in full view of the neighbors, still wearing the same oversized hoodie she'd worn to the hospital. I watched from Harry's car, parked across the street. My hands were shaking, but not from fear. From relief. Relief that I was finally done being quiet. The police had confirmed it. Rat poison. Mixed into the rice dish she handed me. Not enough to kill a healthy adult instantly, but for someone pregnant with a known allergy? Fatal. The real horror? She told the cops she only meant to scare me. That she wasn't trying to hurt the baby. As if that made it okay. Her trial moved fast. Because Jaimie, her own husband, pressed charges. And when he did, he added more. Tampering with food. Endangerment. Attempted assault. Malicious intent. The courtroom was packed the day she finally took the stand. Harry sat beside me, his hand locked around mine like a lifeline. His parents were behind us. Jaimie sat across the aisle, arms crossed, face unreadable. But Kayla? Kayla looked like she was walking into a brunch, not a trial. She wore pastel pink. Even her attorney seemed uncomfortable beside her. And then she opened her mouth. I didn't mean to hurt anyone, she began, tears forming too fast. I was overwhelmed, emotional. When Megan said she was pregnant, at Harry's birthday, I just broke. She turned to face the judge. I was going to announce my own pregnancy that day, she said. I was going to tell everyone. I even had little gift bags made. But she beat me to it. Again, my stomach dropped. She's always been the center of everything. The wedding, the baby, the praise, the attention. I just wanted a moment. Kayla's voice cracked. The courtroom was silent. I didn't want to hurt her, she repeated. Just shake her. I didn't know Jaimie would eat it. He wasn't supposed to. She looked at Jaimie like she expected him to nod. He didn't. And you thought poisoning her was the answer? The prosecutor snapped. Kayla blinked. I wasn't thinking straight. Or maybe, the prosecutor said, you were thinking very clearly and very selfishly. Kayla's gaze flicked to me. I just wanted my brother back, she whispered. I felt something dark twist inside me. Not rage. Not fear. Pity. The kind you feel for a rabid animal. Dangerous, broken, and completely unreachable. The judge didn't look moved. The jury sure didn't. Kayla was found guilty. No slap on the wrist. No community service. Actual jail time. And because she confessed under oath, there was no more wiggle room. No more pretending. No more misunderstood. She tried to call Harry later that week. He blocked her. But what broke me, what truly broke me, was the moment I walked past her in the hallway after the verdict. She caught my eye. And with the most fragile, broken voice I'd ever heard her use, she whispered, "Tell my baby." I'm sorry. She was pregnant, with a child who would grow up without either parent. And for one fleeting second, I almost felt bad. Almost. The night our daughter was born, it was raining. Harry paced the hospital room like a man possessed, gripping my hand with so much force I thought he might break bone. He kept apologizing between contractions, as if all of this, the pain, the chaos, the fear, was his fault. But it wasn't. Not anymore. I had already let go of that weight. Because after everything Kayla did, the sabotage, the poison, the lies, I finally stopped carrying her around in my mind. I stopped living in fear of her next move. Because there would be no next move. She was gone. And in her place, something better arrived. We named our daughter Hope. Not because we're poetic people, or because we were trying to be symbolic, but because that was what I felt when I saw her for the first time. Hope that our family could be something she'd never touch again. Nate held her with the gentleness of someone who'd waited years to meet his best friend. He kept asking if she'd recognize him when she opened her eyes. She already knows you, I whispered. She knew you before anyone else. We never told him the full story. Not then. He was too young to understand what it meant, that his aunt tried to poison his mom, that his uncle almost died because of it. But someday, we will. He needs to know. Because secrets like that grow roots. And I don't want to raise a son who learns how to tolerate poison with a smile. As for Jaimie, he recovered, both physically and emotionally. He filed for divorce as soon as the trial ended, and though it was messy, he told me something I'll never forget. You didn't poison me, he said. You saved me. I told him that wasn't true, that I'd handed him that plate, blindly, without thinking, that I would have done anything to take it back. But he just shook his head. If it wasn't me, it would have been you. Or your baby. I'd make that trade 100 times. He comes over for Sunday dinners now. He brings his own shrimp. We joke about it. Carefully. Like holding a scar instead of a wound. And sometimes, late at night, I still get the phantom taste of fear. I still triple-check what I eat. I still wake up reaching for my belly, heart pounding from dreams where I didn't swap that plate. But those moments fade fast. Because now, when I open my eyes, I see 2 kids. Safe. Loved. Whole. Kayla sends letters from prison sometimes. Handwritten. Full of flowery words and twisted justifications. Harry doesn't read them. He burns them. One by one. The last letter said, I hope someday we can all be together again. As a family. He didn't even flinch before striking the match. Family isn't who you're born with. It's who stands by you when the room is burning and says, I'll walk through this with you. And when I watch Nate hold his sister's hand, when I see Harry carry her across the hallway just to make her laugh, there's no room left for Kayla's shadow. Only light. Only hope.